Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. As most of you may know, I became a mom at a very young age, 17 to be exact. I decided I'm going to go back in time and kind of share a little bit of that with you. It was 7 years ago, well, over 7 years ago, and so some things might be a little bit foggy, and I'm going to break this up into more than one video because it might be a fairly long video if I sat here and explained every detail to you. So today I'm going to explain to you how I found out that I was pregnant. On February 4th, 2009, it was my 17th birthday. And no, it's not like a laughing matter. Being a teen parent is not a funny thing. It's just, thinking back to it, it's just ironic that it was my birthday and it just happened to be that day, and it's just kind of like, that poor girl. So it was my 17th birthday and I went to school. I was in the 11th grade at the time. It was just a normal day. I was excited. It was my birthday, I was planning my birthday celebration the weekend after, and I was just like, happy that, I was 17. And I started getting a headache and not feeling the greatest. So if I can recall, I left school and went home, but I can't remember that for sure. But I know I ended up having to call into work that day, and at the time I worked part-time at a grocery store, and I had to call into work. Well, obviously, them knowing it was my birthday, they didn't believe that I was sick, so they wanted a doctor's note. So when my mom came home, I said, Mom, we have to go to the doctor, or like the walk-in clinic or something, because I need to get a doctor's note for work because they don't think I'm sick. So that is what we did. We went to the walk-in clinic, and I don't remember why or what the reasoning was, but I ended up going in to see the doctor by myself. And let me tell you, being pregnant did not cross my mind at all. I was on birth control. I don't know, the thought just never crossed my mind. Like, out of all my friends, if you were to ask me which one was going to be a young mom, I was not the one that would come to my mind. I had different plans for what I wanted to do because my mom was a young mom and I didn't want to go down the same path as her. Not that because I was the child that she had, but I mean, like, I just wanted to do more and, to make my family proud. And so, here's Lucas in the background. So going into the doctor's office, I just was basically thinking I just needed to know. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought maybe just a headache, because sometimes I get migraines and like sometimes that makes me feel sick to my stomach. So I kind of just thought like that was what was going on. So I go into the doctor's office and she starts asking me all kinds of questions. And one of the questions was, when was your last period? So I told her, and not even thinking about it, she goes, oh, so you're a little bit late. And I was just kind of like, I guess. Like, I wasn't really thinking about it too much because my period, even though I was on birth control, was kind of like on and off. Like, it wasn't really stabilized. And I'm pretty sure I took the pill correctly. Like, at the same time, just like you're supposed to, I remember I had a timer on my phone, and so, but it would still just kind of like fluctuate. Like, I wasn't super late from what she was saying. I was just like a couple of days late, which was normal for me. Like, I'd be either a couple days early or I'd get it a couple days later. Like, it just always was different. So I didn't think anything of it. And then she told me that I should go home and take a pregnancy test just to rule that out. So I was just like, okay, really not thinking that I was pregnant at all, or saying that I was late and that I shouldn't be and all this stuff. So I just kind of was like, okay, I'll just take one anyways. So I remember my mom and I were leaving the walk-in clinic, and there was a drugstore like right outside of the walk-in clinic. So I said to her, can we go in here for a minute? And she goes, okay, why? And then I said, because the doctor said that I should take a pregnancy test. And then my mom I just remember she like stopped in her tracks, and I was just kind of like, oh my God. But at the same time, I was just like, there's nothing to worry about. Like, seriously, I am not pregnant. I'm just taking one just to rule it out completely. Like, I was really confident that I was not pregnant. And my mom was like, do you have reason to be pregnant and all this stuff? And the only reason why is because of one incident, obviously. And so I was just kind of like, well, there's chances that obviously if you're doing something that you could get pregnant. So I kind of just was like, let's just take it, rule it out, whatever. This is crazy thinking about it again. So I remember going into the drugstore and looking at all the pregnancy tests, and obviously I didn't really know too much about taking pregnancy tests at the time, and I was just like, okay, let's just grab one and get out of here. My mom's like, nope, we're grabbing you a drink too. So she made me chug a drink because she's like, you're taking this as soon as we get home. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay. So I drank my drink, and like the whole time home, like the whole car ride home, I was like reassuring her, I'm not pregnant. Like, stop worrying. I'm not pregnant. And she's like, you better not be. Kind of. And I was just like, seriously, don't worry about it. So we got back to my house, and I remember my dad was sitting on the couch, and I don't think that my mom could have told him before we got there, but I don't think that he knew what I was doing. My mom probably told him once I was in the bathroom, but I don't know. He obviously knew when I got out what was going on, because we'll just wait for it. So I went into the bathroom and read the instructions on the test, whatever, and then it said, like, pee on it for this long, and then set it down and wait like 3 minutes, I think it was. And so that's what I did, and instantly when I peed on it, 2 lines appeared. And I put it down, and I was like, oh, that just means that it's working. Like, because it came up so instant, I was like, that is not even right. So I'm staring at it while it's sitting on the bathroom sink, and I'm staring at it, and I'm just kind of like, okay, just waiting for it to change now. Like, because that's what happens apparently in my mind. And as I'm staring at it, and as like the 3 minutes was up, just tears started rolling down my face, and I had this like, I just felt so sick instantly. And then I just kind of collapsed on the floor because I just started like bawling my eyes out. Like, I couldn't even believe that this was happening right now, that there was even a positive. And then when I read on the box that there's no false positives, I'm just on the bathroom floor crying and crying. And then finally my mom comes and knocks on the door, and she goes, did you do it yet? And all this stuff. And then she came in. I remember she came in, and I just started saying, I'm sorry. And I was just crying and just apologizing. And my mom just kind of took the test and like went into her room and was just staring at it. And I just felt like I had just been punched in the stomach over and over and over again. It was the worst feeling. My dad was silently sitting on the couch, so I knew he knew what was going on, but we hadn't talked about it or anything like that. He was just sitting on the couch, but you could tell he was mad. And my mom was crying. And then I remember my mom left. I think she went to go just drive around or something. Maybe she had to think about it or let it soak in or something like that. And I just remember like going down to my room, and I was just so upset. I'm not going to get into too much detail about the father because he is not in the picture anymore, but he just, I was talking to him. I did let him know that I was taking a test, and then once I told him what the test said, he like completely stopped talking to me, like, for that night. And then because obviously it was shocking for him too, and my dad wouldn't talk to me, and my mom was gone, and I just didn't know who I could talk to. And I remember one of my friends, I was texting with her, and I told her, and that was like the only person I told that night, and I was seriously like, my world just crashed around me. I didn't know what just happened. I just kept thinking, like, this could not happen to me. This is not supposed to happen to me. I did not want to make the same mistake my mom did. Not that she made a mistake, because then I'd be calling myself a mistake, but, you know, getting pregnant at a young age is not the best thing. It changes your whole life. So, yeah. The crazy thing about it now is there's girls out there who intentionally go out and try and have a baby at a young age. I was 17 years old. I was definitely not ready for that. But there's girls out there who are intentionally doing it. And I don't understand. And I'm sure there's guys, I can't just blame it on girls, but I'm sure there's guys out there who are carelessly not being protected and going out there and just doing whatever they feel like, and that can change a girl's life too. Not saying like that was my case or anything, it takes two, but I mean, it's a life-changing thing. And like in that split second, like that moment that those two lines were not disappearing, my whole entire life changed so fast. And every day a young girl goes through something that I went through 7.5 years ago. Not saying that I would go back and change anything, because now I have this beautiful 7.5-year-old boy who literally is like one of my best friends, and I just couldn't imagine my life without him. But it's life-changing, and I don't recommend, if you're thinking about doing it, that you go and get yourself pregnant. It is so much easier to be a parent if you have an established life and you're able to provide for that child, and you'll even be a happier person while being a parent if you have a decent paying job, a home to bring that baby to, you know, some support like a spouse, or, you know, I had lots of support afterwards. My parents, like that day, obviously they were just as devastated as I was, because I'm sure they had all these hopes and dreams for me as well. And you know, just things just changed in an instant, and you have to wipe that board clean, and you don't know what's going to happen after that point. So I'm sure that's why they acted the way they did. I don't blame them. I would probably do the same thing. And they obviously, over time, their way of thinking changed, and they were more supportive towards me than probably anybody in my pregnancy. So I thank them for that. If I keep going on, this video is going to get very, very long. I will go on with a part 2, my whole entire pregnancy experience, next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to know what happens next for me back then, be sure to subscribe. Leave a nice little comment below. I always like hearing from you guys. And give this video a thumbs up if you can relate to the same experience that I went through. I will see you guys in the next video.